You saved for years, you signed the papers, you got the keys. And then, just a few months later, the ceiling started leaking. The floors began to crack. The walls showed mold you had never noticed before. Suddenly, the home you worked so hard to buy feels like a trap you cannot get out of. And the worst part? You still owe the bank every single penny. This is not a rare story. Across the United States, thousands of homeowners every single year discover serious problems with their homes after closing. Problems that cost them tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes more. Problems that the seller knew about. Problems that an inspector missed. Problems that nobody warned them about. Today we are going to talk about why this keeps happening, what the most common hidden defects are, how much they actually cost to fix, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself before you ever sign on the dotted line. Whether you are buying your first home or your fifth, this information could save you from making the most expensive mistake of your life. Stay with me, because some of what you are about to hear might genuinely surprise you. Section 1. Why buyer regret is so common in real estate. Buying a home is one of the most emotional decisions a person makes. When you walk into a house that feels right, good light, nice kitchen, the right neighborhood, your brain starts seeing your future there. And that emotional pull can make it very easy to overlook warning signs, rush through inspections, or convince yourself that a small problem is nothing to worry about. Emotion is a powerful thing, and sellers and their agents know it. A 2023 survey by Angie, a home services platform, found that 82% of homeowners said they discovered at least one unexpected problem after moving in. More than half of those problems required immediate and costly repairs. Another survey by Clever Real Estate found that 72% of recent homebuyers said they had regrets about their purchase, and hidden repairs and maintenance costs were among the top reasons. Part of the problem is the pace of the market. During competitive periods, buyers often feel pressured to waive inspections or speed through the process just to win a bid. When inventory is tight and multiple offers are flying in at the same time, taking a day to hire a proper inspector can feel like a luxury buyers cannot afford, and so they skip it and they pay for it later. Another part of the problem is what sellers are legally required to disclose, which varies significantly from state to state. In some states, sellers must disclose nearly every known issue with the property. In others, it is largely buyer beware. And even in disclosure-heavy states, sellers can claim they simply did not know about a problem, which is often very hard to prove otherwise. The system was not designed with the buyer's protection as the top priority. Section 2. The most common hidden defects found after closing. So what exactly are buyers finding after they move in? Let us go through the most common and costly defects that homeowners discover too late. The first and most expensive is foundation damage. A home's foundation is everything. When it is compromised, it affects the entire structure. Doors that will not close properly, cracked walls, uneven floors, and in severe cases, structural collapse. Foundation repairs can range from $4,000 on the low end to over $100,000 for major structural work. The problem is that foundation issues are easy to hide with fresh paint, new flooring, or carefully placed furniture. A standard home inspection may catch surface cracks, but miss deeper structural problems that require a specialized structural engineer to identify. The second major issue is roof damage. Roofs are expensive. A full replacement typically costs between $8,000 and $20,000 depending on the size and materials used. But a roof nearing the end of its life can look passable from the outside. Sellers may patch visible areas just before listing without replacing the whole thing. Buyers then move in, experience their first heavy rainstorm, and suddenly discover leaks in multiple rooms. Roofs have a lifespan of roughly 20 to 30 years for asphalt shingles, less for other materials. Always ask for the age of the roof and look for documentation. Third is mold and water damage. Mold is one of the most common and most dangerous problems found in homes. It grows in walls, under floors, inside HVAC systems, and in crawl spaces, often invisible to the naked eye. Sellers sometimes paint over mold or install new drywall to cover it up. But the source of the moisture, whether it is a plumbing leak, poor drainage, or a leaking roof, still exists. Mold remediation can cost anywhere from $500 for a small area to more than $30,000 if it is spread through walls and systems. For people with respiratory conditions, mold exposure can also be a serious health risk. Fourth is outdated or faulty electrical wiring. Homes built before the 1980s may still have aluminum wiring, knob and tube wiring, or other older systems that are considered fire hazards by today's standards. These are not always visible during a basic walkthrough. Upgrading an electrical panel alone can cost $2,000 to $4,000. Rewiring an entire house can cost $8,000 to $15,000 or more. This is a major safety issue. The National Fire Protection Association reports that electrical failures are one of the leading causes of residential fires. Fifth is plumbing problems. Aging pipes, hidden leaks, low water pressure, and failing sewer lines are all common issues that buyers discover after closing. A sewer line inspection, which is separate from a standard home inspection, can reveal tree root intrusions, collapsed pipes, or major blockages that cost thousands to repair. In older homes with galvanized steel pipes, corrosion can lead to poor water quality and eventual pipe failure. A full plumbing overhaul can easily reach $15,000 or more. Sixth is pest and termite damage. Termites cause roughly $5 billion in property damage in the United States every year, according to the National Pest Management Association. A colony can silently eat through the wooden structure of a home for years without any visible sign on the surface. Other pests, rodents, carpenter ants, wood-boring beetles, can cause similar hidden damage. If a seller has had a pest problem and treated it, they are generally required to disclose it, but not all do. Always request a separate pest inspection. These 6 categories cover the bulk of costly surprises buyers face. But what makes them so damaging is not just the price tag. It is that they are usually discovered after the deal is done, the old owners are gone, and the legal window to take action is closing fast. That combination of timing and financial pressure is exactly what makes hidden home defects so devastating. Section 3. The real financial cost of hidden defects. Let us talk numbers, because this is where buyers feel the real pain. According to a 2022 report by Storage Cafe, American homeowners spend an average of $13,138 per year on home maintenance and unexpected repairs. But for buyers who move into a home with pre-existing hidden defects, first-year costs can be dramatically higher. It is not uncommon for a buyer to discover $30,000, $50,000, or even $80,000 worth of problems in the first 2 years of ownership. That is money most people simply do not have sitting in a savings account. The financial damage does not stop at repair costs. When serious defects are discovered, they also affect the home's market value. If you need to resell a property that has known structural or water damage issues, you will either need to fix them first, at your own expense, or disclose them to the next buyer and accept a lower price. Either way, you lose. Then there's the cost of temporary displacement. If a home becomes uninhabitable during major repair, for example, due to mold remediation or foundation work, the owner may need to rent another place to live in the meantime. That is an additional cost on top of still paying the mortgage on the damaged home. Some families end up paying 2 housing costs simultaneously for months. And finally, there is the legal cost. Some buyers pursue lawsuits against sellers or real estate agents when they believe information was deliberately hidden. Litigation can drag on for years and cost tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees, with no guarantee of a favorable outcome. Courts often struggle to prove that a seller had actual knowledge of a defect, which means many buyers end up absorbing the losses on their own. Section 4. Red flags to watch for before you buy. Now let us talk about how to protect yourself. There are specific warning signs every buyer should look for. And if you spot several of them in the same property, treat that as a serious signal to either walk away or negotiate hard before closing. The first red flag is fresh paint in unusual places. New paint in a basement, behind appliances, on a ceiling, or in a corner of a room could be cosmetic staging, or it could be covering up a leak, mold, or structural crack. Ask why those areas were recently painted. The second red flag is strong smells. Musty odors indicate moisture and possible mold. The smell of air fresheners or candles used heavily throughout the house can be an attempt to mask underlying odors, pet urine, mold, sewage, or smoke damage. Third is doors and windows that do not open or close properly. This can be a sign of foundation settlement. It is easy to miss if you are doing a quick walkthrough, but try every single door and window during your visit. If they stick, jam, or swing open on their own, that deserves a closer look from a professional. Fourth is uneven or soft floors. Floors that bounce slightly when you walk on them, or rooms where the floor visibly slopes, can indicate structural damage, rotting subfloor, or compromised floor joists. This is a serious issue that should never be dismissed as minor settling. Fifth is water stains on ceilings or walls. Brown or yellow stains mean water has gotten in somewhere. Even if the stains look old, ask if the source was ever properly fixed, and ask for documentation that it was. Sixth is a crawl space or basement that is difficult to access or has been recently cleaned. Sellers sometimes tidy up problem areas just before showings. A crawl space with brand new vapor barrier installed right before listing can be hiding years of moisture damage underneath. Section 5. How to protect yourself as a buyer. The most important thing any buyer can do is invest in a thorough, independent home inspection and understand that a standard home inspection has limits. A general inspector will walk through the property and check visible and accessible areas, but they are not specialists. For a home you are about to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on, also consider hiring a structural engineer if there are any signs of foundation or framing issues, a licensed electrician to assess the electrical system, a licensed plumber to check the plumbing, a sewer scope inspector to run a camera through the main sewer line, a mold or air quality inspector if there is any musty smell or visible moisture, a pest inspector who will look specifically for termites and other wood-destroying organisms. Yes, these add cost up front, typically a few $100s each, but compared to discovering a $40,000 foundation problem or a $25,000 mold remediation job after closing, that is money extremely well spent. Think of it as insurance that pays you back many times over. Next, read the seller disclosure form carefully. In states where disclosures are required, sellers must list known issues with the property. Look for anything vague or left blank. Ask follow-up questions. If a seller says they are not aware of any water intrusion in a 40-year-old home, that should prompt more scrutiny, not less. You should also pull permits for the property. If the previous owner did renovations, added a room, finished a basement, built a deck, those should have required permits from the local government. If work was done without permits, it may not have been up to code, and you as the new owner inherit the liability. Many municipal websites allow you to look up permit history by address. Consider a home warranty if the seller is willing to offer one. A home warranty typically covers major systems and appliances for a set period after purchase. It is not a substitute for a full inspection, but it does provide a financial buffer if something breaks down in the first year of ownership. Finally, do not let market pressure eliminate your judgment. In a competitive market, it can feel like you have to move fast and take risks. But no home is worth buying if the cost of repairs will wipe out your savings or put you underwater financially. If a seller refuses to allow inspections or will not negotiate on price after significant defects are found, that tells you something important about the deal. Walk away if you have to. There will always be other homes. Buying a home is supposed to be one of the best decisions of your life, and it can be if you go in with the right information and the right mindset. The buyers who end up with regret are usually not unintelligent people. They were excited, they were in competitive situations, and they trusted that things would be fine. But real estate rewards preparation, not optimism alone. The defects we talked about today, foundation damage, roofing failures, mold, faulty wiring, plumbing problems, pest damage, they are all real, they are all common, and they are all preventable if you take the right steps before you close. Spend a little more time and a little more money up front. Hire the specialists, read the disclosures, ask the hard questions. Do not let emotion override the process, because the cost of being thorough before you buy is always going to be far less than the cost of fixing a home that is falling apart after you already own it. protect yourself, do the work, and buy a home that is worth being proud of. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with anyone who is thinking about buying a home. And subscribe if you want more honest, research-backed real estate and financial content. Thanks for watching.